let's do 3, 2, 1, go. All right.
Okay. You gonna
Ready?
say it?
Oh, I think we should say it together.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. Ready?
Three,
two,
two,
one,
one,
go.
go.
Hi, I'm Reva,
And I'm Katie, and this is What About Bob's?
a podcast about friendship first,
Then movies.
and if we're lucky, a bob on top. Hi, Katie.
Hi. How are you doing, Reba?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling good this week. I feel like everyone's ready for spring here, and it feels like it's gonna happen soon. At least we're shaking off
Any
our
minute.
winter, our winterness here. It's kind of rainy today, but I think that means it's like starting to warm up, all of this stuff. So, but we're known for having like fake out springs,
Sure.
so we'll see.
Sure.
Anyway, we always talk about the weather, I feel like,
I know.
which seems like so boring, but I feel like it's like a neutral subject that I always like
And it's
bring up.
also, I feel like it's always so different, like where you're
Yeah.
at versus where I. However, it is also raining here a ton, so much so that we got a leak in our roof a couple days ago. We have got the old, like, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like, bucket under.
Where is it leaking from?
It's in the back. It's in the addition, your old room. This could have happened to you.
This could have happened to me. I could have had a bucket. Yeah.
You could have had the bucket.
Oh no, but now it's office space, right?
Yeah, so it's the office space, which isn't great. There's a lot of like really heavy, cumbersome stuff that will need to come out of there if we rip out the ceiling. But
Yeah.
it's looking like we're probably gonna have to rip out the ceiling, and maybe repair the roof. But I've been telling Ryan, it's like this house is like 150 years old, and I bought it almost 10 years ago. And we've done like a couple things, like water heater's been replaced, like a couple little
Yeah.
things, but like other than that, like big stuff has not been replaced yet. And I'm like, we're very lucky that we haven't had to do any
Yeah.
big things yet. Like we're just hitting a point where we're gonna have to start like updating normal stuff. So it's like anytime something happens, you're like, oh, of course, it's
Yeah.
always something.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were on a walk the other day talking about it, and I was like, there's so many things in our house that do work. Like, let's think of the things that are like working great. And he like started listing a couple. He was like, the furnace and like the dishwasher. And I was like, okay, stop. You're making me nervous. Like you're gonna jinx it. Let's just not talk about anything.
Yeah. In other news, I think we should point out that you and I are wearing something very cute right now. If you're watching, you might notice that Katie and I are wearing matching t-shirts. I had the joy of opening a package this past week from Katie and seeing this beautiful merch t-shirt. Should we show the back?
Show the back. Uh-huh.
I don't know.
It's us. Oh my God. Cute as can be.
So cute. So excited to get this in the mail. What a surprise.
Everybody wants one. Everybody's been asking where we got
Everybody's
them.
been asking for the merch. Relax, guys. Relax.
We're working on it. No, I am so pleased. And I want to get many in many different colors.
Yes.
So that I can just like wear them. Alternate days.
Alternate the colors.
We got merch, guys. It's official.
It's official.
Everybody
Okay.
relax.
Everyone can calm down. No, I'm so overjoyed with our little. It's so cute. The print turned out so well.
It's just so freaking
I'm really
cute.
happy with it. It's so cute.
Oh gosh.
A joy.
A joy. And maybe we'll get them for you guys.
Who knows?
We'll see.
Everyone's clamoring for what about
Clamor.
Bob?
Give the people what they want. Maybe.
Maybe we will. Don't threaten us with a good time.
So yes, feeling very good this week about the merch.
We have the roof. The roof is leaking, but we have our cute
But
merch.
we have the merch.
We're sitting down to talk about a cute movie.
And we also had one heck of a cute movie this
We
week.
had a very cute movie, which well, let's just jump right in
Let's
now, I
do it.
guess. So we watched Pretty Woman. And Pretty Woman, this is kicking off a new series for us. Pretty Woman was released in 1990, and it's directed by Gary Marshall, and it's starring our beautiful, beautiful, stunning, gorgeous
America's
Julia
Princess.
Roberts. America's Princess. Oh my God. She was something to behold. We were just like gaga looking at her the whole movie.
I was gaga.
She's gorgeous. And then Richard Gere, right? That's her male counterpart. The movie is kind of a retelling of a like Pygmalion, My Fair Lady, but modern 90s.
Really edgy.
Real
This isn't your
edgy.
grandma's My Fair Lady, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's a 90s rom-com, which I was reading, the original screenplay was actually written not to be a rom-com. I don't know
Yeah,
if you
I
knew
saw that
this.
too. It's crazy how they
Yeah,
were
the
originally
original
trying to do it.
yeah, the original script was more a darker tale of the dangers and like of these like kind of class like
Yeah.
dynamics. Rich men and young vulnerable sex workers. My God.
Slightly
Um,
less fun.
yeah,
Slightly
less
less fun
fun.
idea.
But Disney and Gary Marshall got involved and
Thank
they
God.
whipped it around, whipped it up into a fun little rom-com Cinderella story.
Oh God.
So,
Thank goodness.
and we had a great time. My husband Jaden ended up watching with us and loved it. He was like kind of hanging out when we were getting it started, and I was like, you know, you can join. I invited him to watch it because I know one thing about Jaden is that he loves The Princess Diaries. Loves it, which is also directed by Gary Marshall. When we were living in San Francisco, I was like, well, you got to watch this movie. It's set in San
Oh, I
Francisco.
love that. I didn't know that
Yes.
he'd never seen it
He had
before.
never seen it. So he saw it a few years ago and he was like, well, that's a great movie. That's a perfect movie. And I remember we finished it and he was like, is there a second one? What, is there more? And I was like,
Have I got a surprise for you?
there is a second one. So that was really cute. I loved that. He loved it. And then he ended up being like, well, okay, maybe I'll stay for Pretty Woman.
Okay.
And then he ended up staying and watching the whole thing with us. Thought it was great.
And also, it's kind of just Princess Diaries.
Also, it's kind of just Princess Diaries. So, of course, he loved it. Yeah, that was his notes. He was like, I have a few notes. It's a perfect movie, and it is just Princess Diaries, which is a perfect movie.
With a couple of the same characters as well.
The similarities are it's so funny, and it's funny having grown up with Princess Diaries and then watching this and being like, oh, because like Princess Diaries came afterwards. Anyway,
I feel like what I loved about this movie right out the gate is this is just like such a slow, the intro, the start is just such like a slow dip into we're starting a movie. And I feel like I love that. That feels like such a like a Nancy Meyers kind of thing to me, like a late 80s, early 90s, like rom-com, like My Best Friend's Wedding or something. And yeah, it's just like you're getting credits and then maybe you can hear like voices over the credits or like a song over the credits. And I feel like this started with it's just the credits. It's like just names coming up on the screen and then you hear voices and it's like kind of like a garden party atmosphere and you don't know who's talking. And then it's revealed who's talking and they're not characters in this movie. It's just like an interaction between people at a garden party and a magician. What a startling
settling in. Yeah.
And he's doing like coin magic and you just see their hands. And then it kind of pans up and then we get our tertiary character, I feel like Jason Alexander, George Costanza.
Which in my notes, I'm referring to him as George Costanza. Yeah.
I know him from George Costanza and I feel like the second thing I know him from is Did you ever see you remember in like the early 90s when ABC would do like the ABC Family Movie Night? They would like premiere it on ABC Family.
Yeah.
And when I was probably like 10, maybe 9, they did a Cinderella, like a version of Cinderella
Mm.
starring Brandy as Cinderella.
Oh,
And
I love that Cinderella.
I
Yes.
love that Cinderella. I am obsessed with that Cinderella. And Jason Alexander, George Costanza, is the like footman of the
Oh my
prince. He's
gosh.
like always doing errands for the queen, who's Whoopi Goldberg.
Yep. No, that Cinderella was such a staple of my
So
household as
good.
well.
So, yes, George
Okay.
Costanza of Cinderella and Seinfeld
And
is
Seinfeld.
here. He is Richard Gere's lawyer, and his
He's
name is
schmoozing
Philip
around.
Stuckey,
Yeah.
and he's
Stucky. Right.
schmoozing.
Yeah, I think it's his party is what I'm determining, or at
Oh,
least
is
his
it?
car is there.
Oh,
Maybe it's
yes.
not his, yeah, maybe it's not his party, but it's like they're at a house in Hollywood
In
Hills,
the Hollywood Hills.
which is timely. After watching Maxine, we do get
Hmm.
some similar we get kind of set in a similar
Hmm.
mood because this movie canonically would take place only 5 years
Right.
after Maxine.
It's like the Disney version of Maxine. Like, it's not scary. There
It
is a
is
murder, but
no, this
we're
this
not
is the
scared.
Disney. This is a Disney version of Maxine. That's so funny. Yeah, so we're in this party in the
It's a
Hollywood
very
Hills.
yuppie party.
It's
This is a
very
very yuppie
yuppie. It's
movie.
business professionals.
Mhm.
These aren't Hollywood people, but they have these, big homes. And Edward, our main character, he's not like he's not like hanging out. He's not socializing at the party. He's in the other
I
room.
feel like he's giving a bit like Edward Cullen, right?
Yeah.
Is this like Edward and Bella a bit?
Yeah, totally.
Except for Julia Roberts is like very fun and funny, and Bella is, I feel like she
She's
matches
no Bella.
Edward's energy.
Yeah.
But
No.
I feel like he is like giving Edward a bit in that he's like in this world and he's so wealthy and he's at this party, but he's like inside and on the phone
Yes.
and like
He's
doesn't
aloof.
care about this party.
Yeah. No, he doesn't care. He's not like there to have a good time. He's there. He's always working, similar to Maxine.
He's got a lot of jobs.
He's got a lot of work to do. He lives in New York. He's strictly in LA for business this week. They're trying to close a big deal.
Mhm.
And so he has some like dinner appointments during the week, as we'll learn, but they're all very like business oriented. But for some reason, it is very important that he has a date to these business meetings
Mhm.
that he's going to be attending. I'm
Mhm.
not sure why. Maybe that's
It's the
normal. It's
90s.
the 90s. It's like he wants to like present as like a social guy, I guess. His lawyer at least thinks it's very important.
Yeah.
Um, which brings us to his phone call, and he's on a phone call with his girlfriend, and it sounds not like a cute relationship when you hear this
Mhm.
phone call. He says something like, "I thought you were going to be here this week. This is a very important week for me. I was hoping you'd be here." And she's like, "You don't give me enough notice. You make me feel like I should just be at your beck and call. I'm not leaving my life like at the drop of a hat for you."
Mhm.
And which, like, rightly so. And then she makes a comment. I think she makes a comment about the fact that she talks to his secretary more than him.
Mhm.
So he's not really emotionally or romantically available for her, but he like wants her to show up when he needs her.
Mhm. And it kind of sounds like he doesn't like, she's like kind of breaking up with him, and he's like, okay, like
Yes, he's
he does not seem
very
emotionally
ambivalent,
involved in this.
very yeah, apathetic about the whole thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure. I kind of rewatched the beginning because I was like, did they officially break up on that call? But yeah, it's like she's kind of like, okay, then let's just end it. This isn't working.
Mhm.
Then he's like, cool, well, I'm leaving. And as he's like rushing through this party, he's kind of being like not a fun guy at this
No.
party.
But he's
He's
also, I
not.
feel like it's important to say that he's like very like popular and like well
Yes.
like everyone wants his time. He's not like this weird like reclusive
Yes.
guy. It's like everyone wants like a piece of him, especially Stucky, but he's like,
Yes.
ugh, I don't care about all of these things. Like
Yes.
I want to
He's
leave this party. And he's
absolutely.
also 40-year-old Richard Gere, so he's quite handsome, I feel like.
He's very handsome. I think his haircut makes him have a little bit of a young Bill Clinton haircut. Is that
Oh
weird to say?
my.
Not
No,
in
I
that,
get
I
it.
think, but do you know what I mean? He
Yeah.
has this politician kind of look to him.
Think it's like probably both of those are like intentional choices to make somebody look both like powerful and responsible and like trustworthy to like the yuppie whites, but also
Yeah.
like hip, like a little hip.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
But yeah, there's women like hanging off of him as he's like walking, trying to leave this party. Like a woman kind of grabs him and he mentions something about like, "Oh, I heard you got married or something." And she's like, "Yeah, I couldn't wait for you." And then it's
Mhm.
revealed that they dated at some point because he asks her, "When we were dating, did you feel like you talked to my secretary more than you talked
Mhm.
to me?" And then she said, "Well, of course. Your secretary became my bridesmaid." So he's like, we quickly get like a sense of like his dating life isn't super romantic. He has a pattern of being pretty detached. Yeah, I think he just wants to go back to the hotel. I don't know
Yeah.
how he got there, but he ends up taking Stucky George Costanza's car,
It's a Lotus Esprit.
a Lotus Esprit, but he doesn't know how to drive stick, and this car is stick shift, and so it's all a mess. But he starts careening down away.
Mhm.
That is Edward
Our
for
intro
us.
to Edward. And then we get a
Um,
very like Maxine like kind of like musical like
yeah,
here is Los Angeles, here
yes.
is Hollywood. Just like pans over the city and like people on the street and lights and people walking and shopping.
Right after the montage is when we first see our main character Vivian in her apartment, and she's getting ready to go out.
It's like evening, but an alarm is
Right.
going off, so
So she must
she's
have
like
been like napping. Yeah.
sleeping during the day. And we're like not shown her face. We get like a very sexy like leg reveal. And then she gets up, she like slaps the alarm clock and gets up and starts like getting ready to go out for the night. So then we get this little like montage of her like it was very cute. She has like there's a scene where she has a like a heeled boot and she's holding it up and coloring like a scuff with a marker,
Yeah.
which was super cute, and I've definitely done that.
Hmm.
And then she's got these thigh-high boots have a big zipper up the side, and she has one of the zippers is broken, so she's put a safety pin through like the little hook and is pulling
Yeah.
it up with the safety pins and a little tiny like lycra dress, and there's a big blazer windbreaker thing that kind of looks like Hugh Hefner's robe. And she's got hoops, like big silver hoops, and then a little baker boy hat.
And what about the bob?
I'm so glad you asked. When we finally see Julia Roberts' full form, it is revealed that she is in fact sporting a cool, ashy platinum bob with a soft bang. It's giving equal parts flirty and femme fatale and honestly feels a little progressive for 1990. It's giving like rocker chick, a Debbie Harry sort of look. She looks like a badass and a total babe, and this bob is her armor. And at 5 minutes 20 seconds, this is our quickest bob reveal after Scream. And if you think it can't get any better, just wait till you see what is underneath that bob wig. Cause boy, have you got something coming.
Oh boy, Julia Roberts.
She's
Oh,
unbelievably cute in this movie. She's like so magnetic. And I
yeah.
feel like the chemistry between her and Richard Gere is just like what carries this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, yes, this story without them is like weird and problematic. Like,
No, yeah.
not romantic at all, but
It's not
like
romantic, but
the
they have
two of them together. Oh, it's
such good
sizzling.
chemistry. Yeah. She's a little young.
She's
We
quite
learned
young.
she's quite young. What, did we learn she's 22 or
I think she's 22 or
23?
23, and
Yeah,
he is 40.
he's 40. So we do have that going for us. But again, their chemistry kind of makes it seem so, it just is
It's
like,
not that bad.
no, this is, they totally work together.
With this movie, you check your worries at the door. You check your feminism, you check your critical thinking, you check your cares at the door, and you
And
just
check your
enjoy
hair's on
it.
the One of my thoughts that I had after watching this movie was, why do I like this movie so
I
much?
was also wondering that about myself.
But I can clearly see where it's problematic.
Hmm.
I There's like obvious themes that my like feminine self is like ready to go,
Hmm.
fight with, but then there's something magic about this
Hmm.
movie that makes me it's like it's an adult fairy tale,
Yeah.
right? It's being able to say, we haven't even gone through the whole plot, but like it really is, you want to watch this main character who you immediately like. You want to see her feel special.
Hmm.
And I think by extension, like, I, as an adult, want someone to treat me like a princess and I want to feel
Hmm.
special, in whatever that means
Yeah,
specifically to
whatever that
me.
looks like for
Right?
you.
So I feel like that's kind of what I concluded about this movie.
I think
Yeah.
a lot of it too has to do with Gary Marshall and the way that he handled this.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard anytime you're looking at like text or media from like a different time.
Yeah.
And I feel like I struggle with this sometimes with like people in their teens or like younger when talking about like the early aughts. It's like, how do you, like, you really can't explain. Like, it was just different. And now I know that I sound like my grandpa when I'm like, it was a different time,
Yeah.
but like, it was. And like, not to say that that excuses everything,
No.
but like, it puts it in a different cultural context. And like, it didn't mean the same thing then that it means now. And I feel like with the some of the comments that I read on, or the reviews I read on Letterboxd, were picking apart kind of Richard Gere's character and performance, and like, this is so creepy, and like she's a child, and he's like, the way that he like looks at her, and he's like inviting her to like perform for, I don't know, they were like putting a bit of like a Lolita thing on it that I was like, I feel like at this time, in this lens, in this text with Gary Marshall directing, like, I think it's meant to be like he's giving her space, and like he's like letting her, like, we'll get to it, but like when they get to their first time
Yeah.
alone together, it's like she's watching a movie and like eating snacks and being a bit silly and immature, and then he's like watching on like, is he on a computer in 1990? What is he doing? But anyway, it's like he's
Working.
very different. He's like very distinctly like more mature and like working, and she's
Yeah.
like being a little bit more juvenile. But I think that, as weird and apologist as it sounds, like, I do think that it is supposed to be more of like them learning from each other and like
Yes.
meeting each other on this common ground. And it like wasn't as nefarious as if that movie were to be made today and be exactly
Yes.
the same. It would
Yes.
be weirder.
Yes. Yes. I do think you're right about the Gary Marshall touch.
Mhm.
Having been, yeah, very familiar with like something like Princess Diaries,
Yeah, there's like a
you know,
softness like
there's
afforded
a
to her.
there's a safety. It's
Mhm.
the chemistry is there, and the way that, yeah, they're kind of breaking down each other's walls
Right.
and like somehow filling the needs that both of them need in a way that is like wholesome.
Yeah, like this is like the exception, not the rule. But it's like you said, it's like a fairy tale. Like, of course, the fairy tale is the exception.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's just not creepy.
It's just,
It's fine.
it's fine, everybody. It's fine. Um, which, yeah, and I don't think, obviously, the original screenplay, were, as we talked about before, there is some dark stuff still
Hmm.
left in here. There's definitely, it's not saying that, it's not shying away from certain things. Like in this next scene, we see, just like similar to Maxine, so Vivian, Julia Roberts is ready for work now, and as she's leaving, She's kind of leaving this like kind of small, cramped like apartment. On her way out, she's trying to avoid her landlord. She's leaving down her fire escape. So she's
Mm-hmm.
now like escaping out the window, climbing down, trying to avoid this. So like we're already getting like a bunch of context around like her quality of life
Mm-hmm.
is not great. And so now she's heading down to the red light district and we get a little peek of like the worst parts of this life walking by, and there's like a some cops there who are there's like a crime scene, and there's a girl on the ground whose body has been removed from a dumpster, and she's like obviously someone that's like in the same realm, same line of
Mm-hmm.
work as Vivian. And so she's kind of like seeing that. It's devastating to see as she's on her way to work. And then there is like an insensitive joke, but it's like a joke that's like these people are from out of town. Do you remember this
Yeah.
part where like there's a couple trying to take photos and someone else is there and being like, "Hey, hey, stop. Are you the press?" And they're like, "No. We're from Florida
We're
or
from
something."
Florida. Uh-huh.
And they're like, "We're in LA, we're in Hollywood for the first time." And so it's like there, but it's kind of this like show of like this is happening and we're just accepting this
Mm-hmm.
in daily life. And um anyway,
Yeah, and
Vivian
Vivian's
gets to see
walking through
that.
the crime scene and she is like
Yeah, she's not like,
worried and bummed and kind of like
yeah, she's
walking
like,
through it, like looking around and
yeah,
on
she's just
edge.
not good. Yeah.
And the cop, for some reason, is Frank Azaria.
Oh my
Not Frank,
gosh.
Hank Azaria.
I didn't
Um,
realize that.
which I'm like, why is he in this movie? Is this his first movie? And that's it. He's just in the scene and then he's gone. But yeah, to the couple that's like, we're from Florida. It's like he's yelling to someone like off camera. He's like, "Can you believe this? Like, I got people from Florida taking pictures of my crime scene."
Yeah.
And then like that's it.
Yeah. But I think that's like such a Gary Marshall thing.
Yeah. Like
To
it's not
like
too serious.
it's not too serious. It's a kind of scene setting, like it's giving
Mhm.
us a vibe. I do like that. He does that with in Princess Diaries too, where I feel like he uses like characters around to kind of give us
Mhm.
a mood, give us like
Like you're overhearing people
you're
talking.
overhearing people
Mhm.
talking, and they're kind of setting the scene a little bit as
Mhm.
accessories. Yeah. But she walks through that and then she's in a club.
The
She goes
blue
into a
banana.
club. Yes. She goes into a club and she's confronting Kit, her friend and roommate.
Mhm.
Kit has used their rent money on drugs. That's a problem, obviously. But Kit's like, well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Kit is adorable.
She's
Kit
so
is
cute.
Kit is a great sidekick best friend. She's really adorable. She's a little more like gritty and
Mhm.
unbothered and just kind of like everything's fine. We're gonna
Mhm.
figure it out. Don't worry. But obviously Vivian's pretty stressed out about it. Kit's kind of like, well, we'll figure it out. Let's just get to work. And on her way out, she's like gathering like cocktail
Like
condiments from the
garnishes.
bar. And the bartender goes, "Hey, this isn't a buffet or something like
Uh-huh.
that."
This
She's
ain't a
like, "That's for
buffet,
you."
Kit. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
got like orange slices and like maraschino cherries and olives that she's like putting onto a napkin.
she's got that ready for her dinner. But she's so cute. She's tiny and like has this dark, like, is it a long bob? It's
I
kind of
think it's
like
a
a
long bob. Yeah.
shoulder length lob,
This is
and
Laura San Giacomo. I think she was in a sitcom uh in the like mid 90s that the name is escaping me, but it was like a newsroom or like a newspaper office or something. That's what I know her from, but she's so cute. She's so tiny. It's like a very like streetwise
yes,
gal, like
yeah.
no nonsense, like a
No nonsense.
firecracker.
Yeah. And she does play a little bit of a mentor for Vivian. We learned that the reason why Vivian started doing sex work and escorting is because she learned from Kit because she
Hmm.
wasn't making enough money doing what she was doing when she moved to LA. They're out on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Julia Roberts' character, I think, asks about her bob and is
Uh-huh.
like, do I look good? Do I look
Or
like
do I look
Carol
like
Channing?
Carol Channing?
And Kit
Us putting
says,
these on. Do I
yeah,
look like Danny DeVito?
do I look do I look okay? What do you think? And Kit says, you look very glamorous. She's like, you look fabulous, really hypes her up. And then she's like, okay, let's do this. We say who, we say when, we say how much. Kit's like very confident. She's
Mm-hmm.
like talking to, she's like calling out to people who are yelling out to her from
Mm-hmm.
cars. But Vivian is a little more like
She's like
standoff and she's just kind
fidgety.
of
Yeah.
saying, she's new. She's still new to this. She's still a little bit shy. But then they see the car.
Mr. Lotus Esprit comes around the
Mr. Lettuce
corner,
is free coming through
coming in hot.
and yeah, coming in hot, exactly. And Kit says, catch this. You should go. And this is our rent money
Mm-hmm.
because they see this really nice car. And Vivian knows the car, likes it, thinks it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So Kit's like, this is yours. You got to take this and don't take less than 100.
Mm-hmm. And then one thing that they say to each other here, which they say a couple times throughout, which is so cute, is they say, take care of you to each
Oh,
other. And I
yeah.
feel like that's so sweet. It's like hands on either side of the
Yeah.
face. Like, take care of you. And then she says, take care of you. And then she turns around and she takes off the gigantic blazer
Takes
and
off
ties
her
it around her
blazer.
waist and kind of like embodies someone else all of a sudden. Like she's
Yes.
like strutting up
She
to the car.
really pulls on like that right attitude, the confidence. Her dress has these like
Oh my
cutouts that
God.
really show off her body. She's
The dress is
again, the
insane.
dress is insane. Her body's insane. Her legs
Her
so
legs are
long.
come up to here on me, probably.
Yeah,
And
she's a
that
supermodel.
smile,
She struts up to that car.
which he's pulled over because he's lost,
He's
not because
lost
he is
now.
looking for company.
Not he doesn't mean to be there. He's pulled over because he's lost. He doesn't even see her approaching
No.
because he's like looking down,
Uh-huh.
trying to figure out how to drive this car. And she approaches the window, and Edward still, I don't think,
No.
understands what's going on from the get-go, right? Like he's kind of like,
No.
can you tell me where this hotel
Uh-huh.
is where he's staying? Like so oblivious to her aura at
Uh-huh.
first. And then she says, sure, for $5. And
You
he's
can't
like,
charge me for directions.
and then she said, I can do anything I want, baby. I'm not lost. So I think she ups the price to 10 and then
Yeah.
20. And he's like, finally agrees. And she gets in the car with him. And then I don't know, this is such like a cute
The
scene.
interactions were
Yeah.
so good.
But she goes, this is a hot car. It's so cute.
It's so cute.
Very 80s, 90s. I don't know.
Mhm.
This is a hot car. He asks her, what's your name? And she goes, whatever you want it to be.
And he goes like,
Yep. Just gives her a little
Vivian.
stare. A little stare. He's not ready for this cheek. And
which
then
I feel like I really liked. I feel like that interaction already is kind of setting up like the tone and the relationship between them. Like she's kind of like giving him shit, like, what do you want it to be?
Yeah.
And he's like, come on.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're both kind of like giving each other shit immediately. And it's like neither one of them seems intimidated by the other one. And I think neither of them is like used to being in a position where the person they're with is not intimidated by them.
Yeah.
So it's like an immediate, like, kind of like repartee of like, ooh, this is different than it normally is.
This is different. Yeah. She's doing kind of her script, her like
Right.
her whole thing, and he's like not buying it. And I think she's intrigued by that.
Yeah.
But she tells him her name. She said Vivian.
Mhm.
And then she starts giving him directions. Notices he's not comfortable driving.
Mhm.
But she's super into the car. She says, man, this baby must corner like it's on rails. And he's like not sure what that means.
Yeah, he says, what does that mean?
What does that mean? But he likes what she said because he'll use it again later. She's very much a car girl, kind of gives a backstory about how she got into cars. And then is like, I'm surprised you're not into cars. Like, what's up with that? And he's like, well, my first car was a limo.
Mm.
So we learn he's this kind of rich boy, grew up with
Like,
somebody else driving him around. But she's from Georgia. She's another cute little Southern
mhm,
girl, made her way to LA.
mhm.
And then he gets to a point where he's so fed up with driving.
Yeah, I
He
think she's like,
asks,
come on, it's like you're grinding these gears. This is a standard H shifter or
yeah,
whatever. And he's like, as if you act like
yeah.
I should know what that
He's like, yeah,
means.
and what does that mean?
And I
So
think
he,
she's like, do you want me to drive or something? And he's like,
yeah.
yes,
Well,
I
no,
do.
he says something like, have you ever driven one of these cars before? And she's like, no. And then I think he says something like, well, you're going to now, or this is going to be your first
Hmm.
time then. And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna get out. We're not gonna get there if I keep driving, something
And
like
then
that.
switch. And like, what another fun little like power hiccup
Yeah,
here.
he
Like,
lets her drive.
and I
Yeah.
feel like at this point, and I could be being naive, but I feel like at this point, it doesn't seem like he's like, okay, pretty young thing, like I'm gonna let you drive this car.
No,
He's like, I need you to drive me to this
he's
hotel.
trying to get home.
And it's like, of course he thinks she's attractive, but I think he's also
Sure.
like, no, like you're a sex worker. Like I am not the kind of guy who
No,
hires a sex worker. So like this,
that's
you're
not
giving me
what this is.
directions. And yeah, that's not what
Yes.
this is.
Once she starts driving, that's when she starts kind of talking about her rates, though. Just like kind of, I think it does kind of come as more
Hmm.
like he's just talking, right? And she's like,
Hmm.
I think out of curiosity, it comes up like, well, what do you charge? And she's like, $100, like $100 a night. She's like, $100 an hour. And he's like, you make $100 an hour, and you still have a safety pin holding up your boots. It's a lot coming from Mister. I'm buying a business for $1 billion
Yeah.
later. This.
Yeah. And then I feel like he's like, God, $100 an hour, that's pretty stiff. And then she like reaches over into his crotch and makes some
You're
remark about
right.
like, it's not, but it could be, or something like that. And
Yes.
it's like again, it's like he's not resisting and he's not like, ooh, but it's
Yeah.
just like he's observing a little bit, like I don't know, hard to describe. It's like, you do have to watch it because it is not creepy. You have to believe us, it's not creepy. Somehow they landed the plane and it's not
And
creepy.
it's not creepy.
I don't know. Do you agree? Like it's like he's not like not into it, but
No,
he's
he's
like,
like,
let's see where this goes kind of thing. But maybe like he's better than this. Like I
I
don't know
think,
what the vibe is.
well, I think it's like, my take is this wasn't his intention. This isn't
Yeah.
where he was like seeing this night going. And so now, but now it's like here. Now this like
Yeah.
possibility has presented itself. And so even when they get to the hotel, they park the car, he's like, it's very clear that she's like, you're not taking me up. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
going up with you. And she starts, like, she sits down, is waiting for the bus. And
Hmm.
but he like, doesn't go in right away. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like this thing where he's starting to flirt with the idea,
Yeah.
but it was like not his intention on the
Yeah.
way home.
I think he's been like very disarmed by her personality and
Yes.
is like maybe like just catching up with it and is like, okay, okay. Like,
Yes. No, I think that's the thing, and what like at least my take from it too is like it couldn't have been just any girl that got
no.
walked up and got into his car. It's her that like
Oh,
disarmed him.
yes. It's Julia.
As she's waiting for the bus, he says like, "Well, why don't you come up?" He decides like, "You know what? I'm lonely. I'm here. I'm going to invite her up." But he doesn't want her to go in as she is. He takes off his big kind of trench coat and makes her wear that.
And it looks so good all
And she
together.
just still looks fabulous.
Stunning.
So they go into the hotel. She's wearing his coat. She still has her bob and her clothes on, though, underneath. And everyone is staring at her.
Hmm.
Everyone. Guests, the hotel staff. They're all staring at her. They're waiting for the elevator. They're greeting him like
Yeah.
he's one of their special clients. This is where you start getting a little bit of creepy looks from men in
Hmm.
there, because everyone's starting to realize maybe who she is
Yeah.
and what this
You're like,
little
she's wearing a little too much blush
yeah, she's
for
wearing a little too
someone
much
like us.
makeup. Yeah, everyone else in there is dressed very
Mm-hmm.
conservatively, very kind of yuppie, preppy,
Mm-hmm.
or they're like just really old couples like
Mm-hmm.
staring. As they're waiting for the elevator attendant is like just completely taken with her. He like has no shame for his facial expressions. They're very like, "Oh my goodness, who is this?" And there's an older couple that also might enter the
Mm-hmm.
elevator with them, and she sees them staring.
She seemed like a little bit confrontational. Like, I
Yeah,
think
she's
she
kind
puts
of
her leg up
noticing.
on the wall and is like, honey, do you think that I've got to run in my stockings and like lift
Yes.
her dress up all high? And the old people are like, oh my goodness. And then she like looks up and goes, oh, I'm not wearing stockings. And then they get in the elevator. So she's kind of like probably used to getting treated a certain way
Yep.
for living this life and is just being a little bit like,
She's having fun with it. She's
yeah, she's
playing with
having fun
it.
with it. And yeah, talking
Um,
back a little bit.
and they get in the elevator and she's like, "I'm sorry, I couldn't help it." And he kind of gives her a stone face, kind of like, "Well, can you try?"
Uh-huh.
Because he's still, again, like, this isn't his thing, and he's still weird about it.
Hmm.
But she's kind of being playful still.
Yeah.
They get up to his room, which is the penthouse suite. She loves the room. She loves the view from the balcony. And he says, I don't know, like, I don't go out there very much because he's afraid of heights.
Hmm.
And she says, why did you get the penthouse suite then? And he goes, it's the best
Because it's
because
the
it's the
best.
best.
Hmm.
So he will only have the best. We're learning.
And this is, yeah, this is a common thing with him where it's like
Mhm.
getting something just because it's the best and not necessarily because he likes it. There's a quality with Vivian that's like very interesting because it's like she's so cute. And of course, it's just like it's Julia Roberts. So, like, she's like the most beautiful, magnetic person in Hollywood anyway,
Yeah.
especially at this time. But like she's like being so confident, which I know much of that is probably a role she's playing or like a mask
Yeah.
she's wearing because of
Yeah.
her job. Like she's like, "Oh my gosh," like just making herself right at home. But then also I feel like there's another part of her that's like not quite as like hardened as she would need to be in that role, so it's like a bit more like sincere. So I feel like
Yeah.
she's in between,
She
like
that's what I
fitting
was gonna
into
say.
either of these things. That's like what's so like disarming about it.
She does almost fade in and out of like the character
Hmm.
that she's playing and then also herself. And I think part of that is he's not playing along.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
I think she kind of goes in and out. I have like that, yes, she's cute and confident coming in and making jokes and jabs, but she also has this kind of little awkwardness that comes out
Hmm.
because she's not quite sure. He's not like playing along or
Hmm.
like responding to her script
Yeah.
really, which is I
Like her
think
advances
then
aren't landing the way that she expects
yeah,
them to.
he's not really yes-anding her in
Yeah.
this like situation
He doesn't get
where
it.
she asks him, "Well, do you always plan everything?" And he said, "Yes." And then she goes, "Me too." But then you see like that's just her, that's normally what she would do,
Mhm.
right? Is just like make it easy, not really disclose anything about herself. But then she sits down and is like, "Actually, no. I'm not a planner. I actually don't plan anything at
Yeah.
all. I'm more of a ride by the seat of my pants, moment to moment kind of girl." Like she kind of like starts talking and then she's like, "Well, no, actually not." Like I feel like that's like kind of the essence of her in this scene is kind of like saying the things, but then like it doesn't feel right. So then she'll just fall back into like
Yeah.
her natural state. So I think
Hmm.
you're right. She is just kind of like right in between
Hmm.
who she thinks she needs to be in this moment, who she is. I guess we could start with you paying me. That's a good way to break the ice. He's like, oh, of course. She pulls out her condoms for him to choose
Oh
from,
yeah. A
which he is a
multicolor.
little weird about, but
Yeah, I think this is maybe the first time where it's like, oh, this is like real. Like
yeah,
this
this
is
is
like
real. Like
a
she's like,
hooker in my
these are,
hotel room. Yeah.
I'm here. This is what we're doing.
This is what you brought me here for.
She's like, I'm a safety girl. He's not quite ready yet. He's
Yeah.
like the shy one. She's ready to go. She's on a time crunch, Miss
Yeah.
Business Girl. But he just wants to talk. So she says, all right, starts making conversation and is trying to guess maybe what he does for work. It's kind of like asking him some questions. He had ordered champagne and
Yeah.
strawberries, though, when they
Sent
entered,
up to the room.
set to be sent up to the room. And at this moment, they've arrived. Someone knocks on the door, and she's like, oh my God, who's that? And he's like, this is the champagne. So she goes, well, I might as well make myself useful. Opens the door, lets the man in. He brings in the champagne on ice, some glasses, and some strawberries. And the guy's staring at her that
Yeah.
brought,
Oh, yeah.
like, the guy's staring at her that brought up the champagne.
He
And
like
she
puts
starts,
it down and then faces her, and she
yeah.
faces him, and they're just looking
And they're just
at
staring
each
at each
other.
other. And she's immediately like, why is he staring at me like
You got a
that?
problem?
What is happening? Which of course I feel like in any of those scenarios, like you have to be on your guard if you're
Yeah.
her. He's like, oh, sorry, and gets up and like pulls out some money to give this guy a tip. That's all it was. This guy was like expecting his tip. And so it's like these like little like clues to show us that like, oh, she doesn't understand this life. This is not her normal like lifestyle.
She's getting uncomfortable with
She's
like
getting
how
uncomfortable.
long they've been
It's like
talking.
taking too long. And then he's like, well, you know what? I just want you to stay longer. I'm sorry you're in such a rush. So how about we just figure this out now? I want you to stay the night. How much? And she's like, it's going to cost you $300. He's like, done. Deal. Let's do it.
That's only 3 hours.
Exactly.
She giving him like a huge discount.
She's completely underselling herself.
She is
Yeah, we
really,
were like,
yeah.
you went from $100 an hour to however long you're going to stay for 300.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, okay, let's do it.
Done. And then we just learn a little bit more about her. She has quirky little habits, like she likes to floss her teeth really well. And when he learns that, he's just so delighted by it.
Yeah.
He says something like, very few people surprise me. And then she responds by saying, you're lucky. Most of them shock the hell out of me. Super cute. At this point, we had some trouble with the internet and lost some of the footage and the audio. So we ended up having to come back and re-record the second part of this episode a few days later. So if you notice any inconsistencies in the audio, in the video, that's why.
Okay, so now we are in the hotel room. We have Edward sitting on the couch. He's doing some work again. And Vivian is on the floor, like on her belly with the bottle of champagne. She's got all the treats in front of her, and she's watching an episode of I Love Lucy. And it's the episode where Lucy and Ethel are like stomping grapes, I think, like in the big vat. And I feel like this is where we first hear the Julia Roberts laugh, like it's like an ugly laugh, but it's so cute. It's like the cutest, most unselfconscious, like guffaw laugh I've ever heard. And it's so charming. And Richard Gere is charmed.
He's charmed. Yes.
She says, I've got a little carpet picnic. Like, you sure you don't want to come down here? And he's like, no, I'm good. And he's just sitting, watching her. Again, it's not creepy. It's very cute. Like that should be like the movie tagline, like Pretty Woman, it's not creepy. It's actually really cute.
Promise it's not creepy.
I promise it's not creepy. So she's looking over at him. He's looking at her. Finally, something tonally shifts. She like kind of gets up on her knees and like shuffles over to him. And it's getting like a little steamy. And I feel like at this point, this is the first point where it feels a little like less transactional for the first time to me. Like it's like they're into each other kind of. So he's sitting on the couch. She's kind of between his knees, like getting up in his face. Maybe takes off her top. She has like a very cute set underneath.
Yeah.
Very cute, like purple lacy situation. She says, what do you want? And he says, what do you do? And she says, everything, but I don't kiss on the mouth. And he says, neither do I. And then maybe they start making out. Either way, we don't see much. It cuts to him in the shower. So he's getting out of the shower. He's toweling off. He comes out of the bathroom. He goes to grab his watch and he sees on the chair a blonde bob wig. The wig has come off at some point. He turns over to look at the bed and we see, what do we see?
We see a Julia Roberts, an angel Julia Roberts, sound asleep on the bed, and her beautiful cascading curls are spread out across the bed as she's sleeping there.
Spiral, golden, orange, red curls cascading across the bed. It is, I think we both gasped. Stunning.
A princess.
Stunning. She is a princess. She is glorious. He stays up working.
When he does look at her, though, he's just enamored. You can see it across his face.
Oh yeah. He's like, wow. Even without the bob, she is. Even without the bob.
Julia Roberts. Bob or no Bob?
The next morning, he's on the phone with George Costanza. George has set up a meeting with his business people, but he's like, you can't go alone. Like, definitely can't go alone, which is, again, why, but okay. And I did notice on the second watch before he hangs up, he says, oh yeah, Stucky, about your car. And he goes, oh, what? And he goes, it corners like it's on rails. And he goes, what does that even mean? He hangs up. Which I thought was very cute.
It's cute. He steals it, yeah.
So he has ordered everything on the menu for her. He has slept on the couch. He's a gentleman. Here she sits down on the table. She's facing him and eating a pancake with her hands. She's always sitting in like improper places, like up high on things, or just like putting herself on places she shouldn't be sitting. And then she goes, you don't sleep, you don't do drugs, you don't drink, you hardly eat. What do you do, Edward? And again, this felt like a very Twilight parallel to me. You never eat or drink anything. Your skin is pale white and ice cold. He tells her he buys companies. He is rich.
She says, I bet your parents must be really proud because he's gone through all of the school and now he's making lots of money. She asks, do you mind if I take a tub before I go? He says, no, that's fine. She is in the bathroom. Richard Gere is on the phone talking to Stucky. They have set up the dinner, blah, blah, blah. He says to go with the date, keep it social. Who are you going to take? And that's when we hear this enchantingly off-key voice through the door singing Prince. It is, again, everything she does is so damn cute. He cracks open the bathroom door and she is in a tub filled with bubbles with a little Walkman on with just her head sticking out. And it's, what song is it? It's like, I just want your extra time and your kids. It's like, it's so bad. That was so perfect, though. I feel like you did an excellent job. That's exactly what Julia Roberts sounded like singing to Prince.
It's so cute. I feel like the most unrealistic thing about this movie is we're supposed to assume she filled up that bathtub in under the 2 hours it would take to fill up that bathtub with water. But whatever.
It's a giant,
It's a gigantic tub. So I think she says, like, you ever heard a knock-in or something? And he has a proposal for her. He wants to hire her for the week.
As his employee.
He says, I will pay you to be at my beck and call. And she says, well, I'd love to be your beck and call girl, but we're going to have to work out some terms here. So they negotiate. I think she starts at like 4,000. He starts at 2. I don't know. They meet at 3,000. She goes, holy shit! And like slides under the water.
So cute.
It's so cute. He tells her he's going to give her money to go shopping, buy some outfits for the week, because she still only has her little sexy dress and her thigh-high boots. And then as he's leaving the bathroom, she says, I would have stayed for 2,000. And he says, I would have paid 4. It's charming. They're going back and forth. And then she says, I'm going to treat you so nice. You're never going to want to let me go. And then what does he say in response? It's like,
basically
I will let
like,
you go.
I will let you go at the end of the week is basically it. But then she has a kind of defiant look to her and goes, "But I'm here now." And
Hmm.
then she's just excited to be
So
in this
excited.
luxury hotel room. She's about to go shopping today. She is living the life. And then downstairs in the hotel, we do get some little scene at some point during this whole thing to introduce us to the hotel manager, who is Joe from Princess Diaries. And we will find he plays basically the same character as
Joe.
he does in Princess Diaries. It's not actually Joe. What's his name?
I think it's
Uh,
Bernard. She calls him Barney.
Barney.
Barnard.
Yeah, it's Barney, but it is Joe
It's
from
the same
Princess
exact
Diaries.
character.
Yeah.
So she calls Kit DeLuca, her
Mm-hmm.
roommate. She tells her what's going on. Kit can't believe it. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous. I wish I got that guy." She tells her she's gonna leave some money. What hotel she's at, she's gonna leave some money for at the front desk.
Mm-hmm.
So like, come pick it up. This is presumably rent money, but she wants to make sure she's taken care of. She says, "Kit, where do I go for clothes around here?" And Kit says, "In Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive, baby." We get another baby.
I love it. I love it how often they say baby.
Just calling everybody
Yeah.
baby.
Rodeo Drive,
Rodeo
baby.
Drive, baby. We now get Julia Roberts strutting on Rodeo Drive. She does not have the wig on anymore, but she still has her sexy little outfit. She's
Mm-hmm.
getting stared at by everyone. No one's
Mm-hmm.
ever seen anything like this. They're all scandalized. She goes into a shop. This is where she gets pretty womaned.
Yep.
There are some very waspy white ladies in the shop with little like side
Severe blonde
updos.
hairdos.
Very
Yeah.
severe. I've written down, these are white womening. Like
Yes.
this is the white woman like severe archetype.
Archetype. Yep. Mm-hmm.
She walks in, they say like, "Can I help you?" or something, and she's like, "Oh, I'm just looking." She sees something on a mannequin. She's like, "Oh, this is nice. How much is this?" And the one girl goes, "I don't think we have that in your size." And she says, "Well, I didn't ask what size it is. I asked how much it is." She turns to the other lady and goes, "How much is this?" She goes, "It's very expensive." "I don't think we have anything for you." They're being very judgy, very
Mm-hmm.
snooty. Julia Roberts' feelings are very hurt. So she leaves, I believe.
I
She
feel
goes,
this way in some stores without anyone even speaking to me. Like this
I,
is,
yes.
yeah.
I think I said while we were watching this, like, this is me every time I go to Nordstrom. I feel like, unless I am like done up, it's like no one will
Yeah.
talk to
I'm
me.
sorry for being here. Yes, you're
I
right.
have money to spend, you know. It's rude. And she's sad. She goes back to the
Yeah.
hotel. Joe from Princess Diaries intercepts her in the lobby.
He's very
um,
suspicious because he
he's very
hasn't seen her
suspicious.
come in yet. Yeah.
Oh, this is his first meeting of
This
her.
is his first meeting, so that's why
Okay.
he's like, "Who is this? Who are you? Stop." But
Right.
luckily, she notices the elevator guy, Dennis, who bold like eyes like
Oh yeah, last
awooga
night.
eyes at her the
Oh,
night before. She pulls him and goes, "He knows who I am. I'm staying upstairs with the guy. You know the
uh-huh.
guy." And like she doesn't know his Edward's last name. So
Uh-huh.
that's why she's like starting to show that like, no, I swear I belong here. She's already like fed up because of how she's been treated today. And Dennis like mentions he like mentions to Joe like, "Oh yeah, she's staying with Edward what's his last name?
Lewis.
Edward Lewis." And she's like, "Lewis, see? Edward Lewis." Yeah.
But Joe's not buying it. He brings her back to his office to talk,
Yep.
and she's like, "Oh, great. Like, this is just what I need today." This is where he tells her that the things, like, I know who you are, and the things that go on in other hotels do not happen here at the Regent Beverly Wilshire, which we noted.
Which, yeah, I said as we were watching, I beg to differ after knowing about all of the filthy rich people in the Epstein files. There are some
I
really
would wager a guess that they happen more frequently.
that it actually happens more frequently and more freakier, like
More
shadier
freakier.
stuff is happening in a hotel just like that. Anyway,
Absolutely. So he's like, he's being kind of mean to her, but not super shitty. And she like pulls out all her money. She pulls out like a wad of cash and is like, "I tried to spend this. No one would let me buy anything. Everybody was mean to me, blah blah blah. And he like gives her back her money and goes and walks over to the phone. And she's like, "Oh, great, you're calling the cops." He's not calling the cops. He is calling Bridget, who works at a shop, and he says that he's sending a very special guest over. She goes over to the shop, and Bridget is lovely. She's so nice.
Bridget is fairy godmother.
She is a
Just
fairy godmother.
perfect.
She's like a little like middle-aged, I don't know, 50 something lady, 50 something year old.
So sweet. Says, let's get you a cocktail dress. You're here for dinner. Cute Julia Roberts, I think, trusts Bridget off rip and goes, by the way, he's not my uncle, because I think she was introduced by Joe from Princess Diaries saying the niece of one of our extra special guests needs help getting an outfit for tonight. And so when she sees Bridget and she's so Bridget's so warm and welcoming, she decides to whisper to her, by the way, he's not my uncle. And Bridget says, they never are, dear.
It's so cute.
Bridget gets it.
It's cute. Bridget gets it. So she goes on a tear. She's got bags. She's got a little hat. She is feeling herself. She's in little gloves. Comes back to the hotel. She has some bellmen helping her carry her stuff through the lobby. Everyone is now staring for a different reason, because now she's Julia Roberts with her hair and her hat and her gloves. They're stunned. Joe walks her walk by and is like, oh, he can't believe it. So she goes up to the hotel room. This is where we have the phone ring. She answers it. She says hello. And it's Richard Gere on the other line from work. He says, never pick up the phone. And she says, then why are you calling me? She's like, not bothered at all. So he talks about what they're going to do tonight. We have to go to dinner, blah, blah, blah. It's at a very fancy restaurant. I'll meet you in the lobby at 7:45. And Julia Roberts says, I'll meet you in the lobby, but only because you're paying me to.
Yeah.
Which again is like a very cute, says, okay, bye, hangs up. And then Richard Gere has his secretary call back again. So she picks up, she goes, hello. And he says, I told you not to answer the phone. And she says, then stop calling me. She is not bothered. They're just, and he loves it. He
loves it. This is them flirting, and it's actually really cute.
They are flirting. So now she's downstairs with Joe from Princess Diaries. He's teaching her how to use all the different silverware, a la Princess Diaries. It's a very similar scene.
Similar montage to her getting all proper lady trained.
It's a shrimp fork and a salad fork and a dinner fork, and she's nervous, but she's gonna do it. And then we have Edward showing up in the lobby for their dinner date. He doesn't see her. He's like looking around, and then we see her. She is at the bar with her back to the camera, and she is so elegant. Her hair is piled atop her head. She's in like a black off-shoulder cocktail dress that has like a choker attached to it.
Yes. Like the necklace choker part is attached to the dress, but it's like exposing like shoulder bones and her clavicle. Everything.
Her clavicles are on display. But I like that it's like not too stuffy. It's like,
no,
it's like appropriate, but it's her. Like it's still pretty hip.
Yeah.
So he finally sees it's her. He cannot believe how classy she looks. She's really blowing him away. We go to our dinner with Mr. Morris, who's the one that Richard Gere's trying to steal his business. And then his grandson, right? Mm-hmm. We're in a very Princess Diaries situation again here. She doesn't know what silverware to use. Escargot comes out at some point and she's like trying to figure out how to use the little tongs for it while the men are talking, and it goes flying and the waiter catches it. Says, yeah, happens all the time.
Happens all the time. Yeah, I think that's why that scene is in Princess Diaries, is that they like repeated it.
You're like, you know what? That was actually really great.
That was really great. That was really funny.
Let's do it again. I feel like here we see that she is being herself, but like trying to be really polite and like kind of fit in here. And the two Morrises are like also enamored with her.
Yeah.
She does not have to do much. she doesn't know how to use any of the forks, and the grandpa's like, I never do either. Like, I think she's very disarming with her like genuineness, I guess.
Yeah.
Like people like no one is immune to her powers. It's like
Yeah.
everyone is smitten with her.
Dinner ends with the grandson kind of leaving in a kind of just like he's angry, so he
Hmm.
leaves. I can't stay here anymore. And the
Well, yeah, because
grandfather
I think
also
Richard
leaves.
Gere is like, I'm gonna sell your company for parts. He's being like very matter of fact about it.
Yeah, so basically he's trying to buy this shipbuilding company from the Morrises, but it's like going under, it's having some financial troubles. So it's best case scenario for him, he can buy it. But the grandfather, the main Mr. Morris, is like pretty sentimental about the business, so
Hmm.
doesn't want to sell off to get broken down.
Hmm.
That's the issue here. Otherwise, not as important to the story as everything else.
It's very unimportant compared.
Basically, what you need to get from that is that the dinner doesn't end in Edward's favor. When they get back, they end up hanging out on the balcony. But he doesn't get close to the edge because remember he's afraid of heights, and so
Mhm.
he sits like kind of close to the exterior wall. But she's sitting on the edge, and she's kind of trying to shake him out of this mood he's in because it didn't go so well, and she
Mhm.
knows he's thinking about it. But like she's trying to like sit on the edge and kind of
She's like,
pretend
it's
like,
pretty
whoa,
high, like leaning back.
no hands. And he's so distressed about it. It's like, I'm not watching. Stop doing that.
Mhm.
She notices that he's kind of in his head and wonders, oh, are you thinking about the dinner? And she thinks, I think you're pretty fond of Mr. Morris. Like, that's why you're having trouble with this. Like, she can sense that he does care about this guy and he does feel something about taking this business and breaking it apart. And he basically says, I'm not going to get emotionally involved in business. That's what I don't do
Mhm.
that. That's why he's good at what he does because he doesn't get emotionally involved. And she says, I'm the same, which is why I don't kiss on the mouth.
Mhm.
This is why she doesn't do that. And with her saying that, he realizes that they are similar creatures. He says, we both screw people for money. Yeah. So to cheer him up, she suggests that they watch some old movies and veg out,
Mhm.
but he's not in the mood for that. And so he leaves, says, maybe let's do that tomorrow. And then I think she stays in the hotel room, and we think that maybe she was watching Charade or an Audrey Hepburn movie, right?
Yeah, I meant to look that up. Yeah, the end credits start, and I think we were both like, we've seen that movie. I think it was
Yeah.
Charade. Very cute. Cute little What About Bob's callback.
Full circle. Yeah.
But I think he also was like, I just need to be alone for a minute, and now it's gotten very late.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes downstairs into the lobby in her robe, which is very cute. And he is there's like a ballroom, dining
Mm-hmm.
room area, like a banquet area,
Yeah.
with a piano, and it's being cleaned up by staff, kind of slowly because it's presumably like 1 o'clock in the morning. And he is at the piano, kind of playing a slow little something as the people are cleaning up. And she comes and sits by him, and what does he say? He's like, "Can you guys give us a minute?" We were like, "They're working." Like,
You can just clear a room like that. Yeah.
you don't work here. They do. So she says, "People always do what you tell them to do." And he does this very sexy thing where he's at the piano and she's like kind of sitting on the edge facing him, and he like grabs her by her hips and like slides her in front of him, and it does the little like like
Yeah.
piano noise. And then I feel like he does something that's like very intimate. So he's slid her in front of him, and he just like puts his head on her stomach, like just puts his head down a little bit, and she's kind of like startled too, like, what's it? Like, what are we doing here? What is this? And just kind of like puts her hands on his head. He unties her robe. She is wearing a very hot, like, nightgown underneath. And then stands up and she says, I guess so, in response to her, do people always do what you tell them to? He like hops her up on the top of the piano, and it's all silent except for we're getting little like plinking of keys every once in a
Mm-hmm.
while of like one of them touching. I felt like this was very hot. This
Yeah,
was a very
it's
sexy
a very
scene.
hot scene. It's zooming out, but we're hearing the
Just like
like
cling.
plinking of the keys. She's
That.
all stretched out across
Hmm.
the top of the piano. Yeah, it's
As
very
we are
steamy,
exiting the
sexy.
room. Yeah, it's like
We're leaving them to
because
their
we can't see
evening.
too much.
Yes.
Next morning, wake up, it's time to shop,
Mhm.
which God,
Can you
what a
imagine?
dream.
A credit card in your face, time to shop as you gain
He's like, I'm
consciousness.
surprised you didn't buy more yesterday. She says it wasn't as fun as I thought it would be. They were kind of mean to me. And he goes, what? They were mean to you? And now he wants to go together. I think he says what?
He says, stores aren't nice to people, they're nice to credit cards.
Hmm.
Yep.
So he is dragging her back to Rodeo Drive. She now has his white button up over her sexy little lycra dress from day
Yes.
one and
Yeah.
her thigh high boots. And they go into a shop. This is our second Princess Diaries character playing the same character. I don't know this man's name. What's his name in Princess
In
Diaries?
Princess Diaries, it's Paolo.
Paolo.
Paolo is infamous for, I took this and I give you a
Prince.
princess. And essentially, he's about to do the same thing for our
Uh-huh.
Julia Roberts.
It's so funny. I find this man so funny. He's in a lot of things with like smaller roles. I know him primarily as the dad from 10 Things I Hate About You. He's just like really funny. And him and Richard Gere have some like silly
Yeah.
little like asides.
He's our sales guy, manager of the store.
Uh-huh.
Edward bursts in there, tells them they're going to be spending an obscene amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to need a lot more people helping us out.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was so funny. Apparently, every woman in the store's first name is Mary because Paolo snaps these women into business and says, all right, I need Mary Pat, Mary Kate, Mary Frances. And like women just come running in. He's showing Vivian, Julia Roberts, a catalog saying we can do anything you want from here. And Edward keeps reassuring him that this is a very obscene, really offensive amount of money we're about to
This is like when
spend.
capitalism was still like aspirational and not. It didn't make people mad. People were like, wow, look at all this money they're spending. At one part, the store manager comes over to Richard Gere, who's like looking at a newspaper or something, I don't know, a catalog, away from the hubbub. And the manager is like, so how's it go? Like, how are things going? And Richard Gere is like, we're going to need some major sucking up. Like, you need to dial up the sucking up around here.
Yes.
And he goes, sir, from the moment you walked in this store, and he goes, not me, her. It's things like
so
that.
funny. It's really funny.
It's very silly. And then Richard Gere leaves. He has to go to work, and Julie Roberts is still there. The Pretty Woman song is playing. The music is
Yes.
swelling. And then like one of the Marys comes over with a pizza, and the store manager is like, "Who ordered a pizza?" And then it's like the scene.
They're having a pizza party. The Pretty
It's
Woman
a
song is
pizza
going.
party. Now she's walking down the street. She has all these bags. Everyone's staring at her on the street. She is a new woman.
She's a new woman. Yeah. I think a salesman gave her one of the ties because because she wanted it. The sucking up was dialed up just for her. And
then we get our revenge.
We get the revenge, the iconic scene. Now that she has all of her bags with her, she bursts into the store she was in yesterday with the white womaning. So terrible.
The white woman final boss.
And she goes in and says, do you remember me? They seem not to remember her. She goes, you work on commission, right? Big mistake. Huge.
With the bags up.
Carrying all of the bags, a hat box, who knows?
Oh, man. They messed up.
Iconic.
Big mistake. Iconic. As she goes back to the hotel, Bernard is pleased.
He's so proud.
Really liking what he sees. The porter helps her up with all her bags, and she tips him because she knows now that that's what you're supposed to do. It's very cute. And she's like so happy. She is ecstatic. We cut to another boring business part. We've got Richard Gere and George Costanza at the office.
Yeah.
I feel like here Richard Gere is kind of expressing, he's lamenting for the first time that we've seen that they don't build anything,
Yeah.
which is a comment that Julia Roberts made. Like, so you don't build anything, you don't make anything, like, what do you do? And he's like trying to explain it, but he's like, I used to love blocks when I was a kid. Like, we don't make anything. So we're seeing that like she's kind of weaseling her way in a little bit,
Yeah.
making him rethink some things. He gets back to the hotel. She is, I don't know if I realized this last time. She's sitting at the table. Is she nude?
I think she is, and is just
Wow.
wearing the tie
Wearing the
and
tie.
that she got for him and some
She
shoes.
also has her hair up in like a bun, which is so cute. It's like I feel like this is like feels more domestic and less like she's like trying to be this like siren. It's like she's just got her hair up in a messy bun and
Mhm.
it's still very hot.
It's still perfectly flawless. She's perfect at all
Like, do you like my
moments.
tie? I got it for you. Then we cut to them in the tub together. She is like behind him, holding him from behind in the tub. It's very cute. He's talking about going to therapy for his dad, and that I think he says like his dad left his mom and left them nothing, left her nothing, and then his mom died. I don't know. I wasn't really following, but he said he was very angry with him, and then it was like it cost me $10,000 to be able to say that. I was very angry with him. I was very angry with him. Says it a bunch. He's like laughing. Julie Roberts says, I just want to bring up that she's like, my leg from hip to toe is 44 inches. So you've got this many inches wrapped around you right now of like therapy or something.
Yeah.
Her legs are 44 inches long. Do you know how long I think mine are like 30.
Oh God. I don't know how long my legs are.
Like an inseam, like my inseam is usually like 28.
Yeah, that's crazy. You're right. That is very long.
I feel like maybe they're like 35, 44. Her legs are 9 inches longer than mine.
I
Wait,
believe
that's
it
not
though.
right. Is it? That is right. I believe it. She's
I
like
believe it.
6'5".
Seeing her walk around on screen.
It's true. So the next day, they're at the polo match. This is for the deal. The grandson, the Morris grandson, plays polo. She is in a very cute brown dress with white polka dots, little hat, a lot of cute hats. He's kind of introducing her to his friends and business acquaintances. The women here are not very nice.
No.
We're getting some like, so you're the flavor of the month. Something exciting happens on the pitch, and we get like a very cute like ho 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 from her, which is very cute. Like in her little outfit. Stucky is there with his wife. She says it's always a pleasure meeting one of Edward's girls. Ugh, eye roll. And then Julie Roberts says, "Are these people your friends?" And he says, "I see them from time to time," or something.
Yeah.
And he
she's
says, "Well,
not-
no wonder you came looking for me."
Yeah.
Like she is not impressed with his friend
Yeah.
group. And then they go out into the pitch and they stomp out the divots, which is apparently a little fancy thing you do at a polo match. David Morris, they're about to leave. David Morris, who's the grandson, comes over and is talking to her, probably because he has a crush on her, because who wouldn't? They go and check out his horse together. So Richard Gere is talking to George Costanza. He's like, where did you find this girl? Like, what does she do? He says she's in sales. And George Costanza is very suspicious of her. I think he's just jealous, right?
Edward is making noticeable like attitude changes this week.
That's right.
And so, yeah, Stucky, George Costanza is kind of like putting two and two together. She's new, you're being weird. Yeah.
And he's like, why is she over there talking to Morris? Like, don't you think it's odd that like they're all chummy and she just showed up here the other day, and basically insinuating that she's like some insider.
Yeah, that industrial espionage is happening.
Real espionage.
Which is a thing, apparently.
Which is real. Yeah, that's what you were saying. Crazy. So yeah, finally Edward is like, she's not a spy, she's a hooker.
Yeah.
Here's how I met her. Stucky is a perv and a weirdo and like goes over there and immediately is like putting the moves on her and like maybe you and I could hang out sometime
Mhm.
after Edward leaves, and she is shook. She's like does not
Yeah.
like that he's talking to her this way. She's very caught off guard, but she isn't being rude. She's not like get away from me. I think it's just she's having to like code switch a little bit. Like she's
Mhm.
having to like shift back into that, and
Well,
she's
she's
very
having to
uncomfortable.
process the fact that she assumes Edward is now just like
Yeah, telling
telling
people.
everybody at this place she already doesn't like these people.
Yeah,
And now he must just be like telling everybody this is how they met, which
right.
is not what she was expecting. She got all dressed up just to like show up and look just like everybody else here. So it's really put her
Right.
off
And
guard.
she thought, I mean, their relationship, she's like, this is not what I thought. I thought we were like
Yeah.
doing like better friends than that at the very least. So she is very thrown
Yeah.
and unhappy. They go back to the hotel, they come in, and he's like, are you sure you're all right? And she's like, I'm fine. And he's like, okay, 7 fines on the way back here. Like, clearly something's wrong. And they get into a big fight here. This is their first fight. She says, why did you make me get all dressed up if you were just going to tell everybody?
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't mean to. Here's what he thought you were a spy. I had to tell him something. It's not like that, blah, blah, blah. He's kind of trying to like, I think bring it back to, which is maybe a little unfair, like bring it back to like this is like a business arrangement. Like we shouldn't be getting so heated over this. But I'm sorry for what I did. But also like you are a hooker, he says. And she's very offended. She brings back from the beginning. She says, I decide, I say who, I say when, I say who. I think as they're parting each other, she says, I've never had anyone make me feel as cheap as you did today. And he says, somehow I find that very hard to believe.
This scene,
Oh,
this scene was really distressing to me. Just because, yeah, I mean, her performance in this scene too felt very real. Like, and I think she just really trusted him, and he's like, that's not what she expected him to behave that way at all. She did not
hmm,
expect that, and she was so upset. I think one of the phrases she says is, "I'm not your toy." Like,
hmm,
that's not that's not who I am for you. For him to kind of minimize it and be like, this isn't as big of a deal. Why are you so
yeah,
upset about this? I think for her, she thinks he's so much better than that. And so,
yeah. Well, I
yeah.
think too, it's like maybe he is like it feels like she's maybe asking a bit more from him in this moment since they are having a fight. Like this feels a little bit more like a relationship. And so
Yeah.
maybe he is like putting up walls that are like a little more artificial, but like distancing himself a little bit from it. Like, no, this isn't what I do. Like, this is a business transaction. Like, I'm not gonna put my energy into this. But she does not like it and she's not gonna stand for it. She says she's over it. She's not gonna stay the week. She wants her money. She's leaving.
Yeah.
And so he like very coldly like pulls out money, puts it on the bed, I think next to her, and then like walks out of the room. She looks down at the money and is just like so devastated, feeling like so sad and so low, and she just like walks away and leaves it on the bed.
Yeah.
Walks out to the hotel or to the elevator and is like pushing the button like come on, come on, come on. He comes out into the hall and is like, "Hey, like stay for a second. Let's talk about this." He sees that she has left the money. Is like, "Let's talk about this. Like, I'm sorry. What I did was wrong." They're getting into it a little bit. He says that he saw her talking to the Morris grandson and didn't like it. And she says, "Well, we were just talking." And he says, "I didn't like it." And he's kind of
Yeah.
like smile, like giving her a little something, like smiling, like, you know, you had
It
me on
meant
this
something
one.
to
Yeah,
me.
like I'm on the
Yeah.
hook a little bit for this. He asks her to stay and she comes back into the hotel. She leaves. The elevator comes up with the bellman or the elevator operator and she sends him back down. She stays.
Well, she says, you hurt me. And he agrees. And she says,
Hmm.
don't do it again. And I
Yeah,
think
do it
that
again.
that is like what she's saying as she's
Yeah.
deciding to stay.
Like they're
Yeah.
more on like level footing again, I feel
Yeah.
like here. And I noted too, I really liked that uh it felt unexpected for me after watching, the 30 years of rom-coms that have come out since this. Like, I feel like the choice to have them work it out in the hallway and then go back in rather than
Yeah.
having her leave and be a big thing, like be a big
Mhm.
plot point. I feel like that
Yes.
felt like very refreshing to me, that like they did have
Yeah.
this blow up and then it did get resolved and then she stayed, and that wasn't the like third act breakup of like
Yeah.
the
They
thing
like,
they overcome. I really appreciated that they just like had it out and then
yeah,
went back in.
they talked about it head on.
Hmm.
To me, too, this is almost showing us that they both of them have a moment of conceding something, right?
Hmm.
Like
Absolutely.
she's walking away and saying, this means more to me than just you paying me, like by
Hmm.
walking away from the money. And then he has to put away his ego and his pride and set down this defensiveness to say, like, I was cruel and I
Hmm.
was being hurtful. And the fact that you were speaking to David Morris, that meant something to me.
Like something neither of them wants to concede,
Yeah.
right? Like in the
Yeah.
beginning they were both like, no, like I'm in charge of this. And
Yeah. They're both being very business about this, but as soon as like the real feelings get involved, I think they're starting to realize like we can't be emotionally detached
hmm.
because it ends up they're hurting each other when they do that.
Hmm.
And I will say like did not enjoy the fact that the word hooker
Oh
keeps
yeah.
being used. But that is the word that they're using in this movie.
It was very surprising every
But
time.
it's hard to hear over and over again. So
Yeah.
it's
They were
also
not saying sex worker in
no,
1992,
unfortunately.
unfortunately.
Unfortunately,
And
yeah.
it's tough too. We were saying like it's tough because it is on the one hand like just what they called this line of work, like this profession, but also it is
Yeah.
used, which we'll see coming up. Sometimes it is used as like an insult. So like
Yeah.
it is tough because you can't really use it just like with no baggage, because sometimes it is used
Exactly.
with baggage.
Exactly. It's used in its derogatory form and it's also to describe her work. Yeah.
Right. Which like she uses about herself. Like she's like, this is what I do. But then also, yeah, like Stucky will use it sometimes. And it's like he means it
Yeah.
mean. And so that's a tough one. So yeah, we have a conversation with the two of them now. They are in bed having a really lovely conversation about her and how she ended up in Los Angeles. She said she just followed a couple of bums. She has really bad taste in guys. And then she started working at fast food restaurants and couldn't make rent. And that's when she met Kit. And this was her job. And she said it was great. And so she tried it and cried the whole time the first time. But then it's like you get a couple regulars and then it gets easier. And he says, I think you are a very bright, very special woman. And she says the bad stuff is just a lot easier to believe, which is
Yeah.
also true. Very sad.
Hmm.
But he's kind of saying, like, I believe you could do a lot more because you are so exceptional. He is at work. The next day, he's leaving early. Stucky doesn't like it. He says, where are you going? He says he has a date. And here we get Stucky saying, with the hooker. And Edward stops and pivots and is like, be careful, Philip. And that's the first time we hear him referred to by his first name. So I feel like that's like this is serious. Like, hey, watch your tone.
That's like the equivalent to your parent using
Your full name.
your full name to
Yes.
tell you off.
And then they are in the hotel. This is, I feel like, the most iconic. She is in the red off the shoulder gown here. She's got her hair all pinned up with the swoop side part. They are getting ready for a date. It's a surprise. She doesn't know where they're going. He says, it looks like something's missing. And she says, well, I can't fit anything else in this dress. And he has a little box and opens it up for her. And it's this gorgeous diamond heart necklace and earrings. And she does the little iconic reaches for it. And he snaps the box shut. And she does the great big Julia Roberts laugh. And he's like laughing at her laughing.
Yeah.
It is so charming. Chemistry through the roof. They end up at a tarmac private plane. They are going to San Francisco to the opera
Mm.
for their date night.
Just private plane to the opera, no big
Whisking
deal.
them away. No big deal. She can't believe it. She's never been on a plane before. They get to the opera house. They are in the balcony. She's like, "Oh my gosh, come look at this," like leaning over the edge. And he's like, "I'm good back here." And she says, "If you're afraid of heights, why'd you get seats up here?" And he says, "Because they're the best." Again, I feel like we both really loved this part. They have like little opera glasses, and she's like talking to him and trying to like
Flip
will
them
you
the wrong
explain
way.
what's happening?
Yeah, she's like, there's something where they like unhinge so that they're in place, but she keeps flipping them the wrong way. And she's,
So they
my
keep
opera
coming
glasses are
down.
broken.
She
And
says,
it's just
"Mine are
flopping.
broken."
Yeah. And then he reaches over and puts them up for her
He is,
correctly, and she
he is
goes,
so
"Oh,
charmed.
right." But I love that.
Mhm.
Very cute.
When
And
she's like kind of looking sideways through
yeah,
them.
she's trying so hard. She's so disappointed. They're fine. The opera glasses are fine. Just
They're
put them
fine.
like this, honey. She's worried though because the opera is going to be in Italian, so she's worried she's not going to understand it.
He's like, everybody has a really strong reaction the first time they
Sure.
see opera. Like, you either love it and are changed forever by it, or you hate it, and then you can like learn to have an appreciation for it, but it will never be like in your heart. Of course, we are getting lots of slow pulls to her face while the people are singing. She's welling up. She loves it. She is transformed.
It's so lovely to watch her face, like her expressiveness while watching the opera.
The opera ends, and the little old lady in the box next to them is like, "Did you like it, dear?" And she says, "It was so good, I almost peed my pants." She's leaving. And she goes, "What did she say?" And Richard Gere says, "She said she liked it better than Pirates of Penzance." That night, she convinces him to take the next day off. He's like, "I guess I own the company." Like,
I
it had
do
never
own the
occurred to
company.
him. Stucky is pissed. Then we get the two of them, Vivian and Edward, walking through like downtown LA. She says, I wrote down this quote. She says, "Ooh, there's a snap dog vendor over there. Do you have any money?" And he says, "I have money, but I don't know what a snap dog is." Which I don't either. They sit under a tree. He's like on his big cell phone. She's taking his shoes and socks off for him. They have their snap dogs.
For those of us who are tallying, keeping a bingo chart of the Princess Diaries references, this montage feels to me equivalent to the montage in Princess Diaries where Mia takes her grandmother out to do the things she loves to do in San Francisco, like going
Her mother,
to the
or
little
her grandmother, who's the queen, right?
Who's the queen? Yeah. So her grandma takes a day off and she takes her around town and they have hot dogs or corn dogs, maybe it's a corn dog, and go to this arcade up at the marina. This is what this scene, the energy it's giving.
It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the very same. So she takes off his shoes and socks. He's on his big cell phone. She takes it away and hangs up. And he's like, "I was on a call," but is like so clearly not bothered. He's just smitten with her. And now he's like sitting up against a tree and she's laying on his chest and he is reading a book of Shakespeare quotations. I think this is what Carrie Bradshaw thinks she and Big are doing.
Yeah.
And
like
it's
we're the
not the same, but me and Big are laying in the park reading Shakespeare and eating hot dogs. Like, he is like welcoming her touch so much into his world. And it's very nice to see him just like accepting, like, this is actually good for me. And like, this person is actually very good for me. That night, she's getting ready for bed. She comes out of the bathroom in this glorious, now white nightgown. I think at this point, we're both like, we need nightgowns.
We need nightgowns.
She looks over at him and goes, "He sleeps." And he is asleep, sitting up. She walks over to him and puts her finger to her lips, kisses it, puts her finger to his lips. And then she gets very close and is kind of like looking into his eyes while he is asleep. And then she goes to kiss him. He wakes up and is kind of surprised. And then she kisses him and then he kisses her and then they are making out. This is a very sensual scene. I feel like this is like the kind of movie where people make love instead of have sex.
Yeah.
Presumably they make love here. It's very like 90s, like shirtless, moonlight,
Yeah.
saxophone probably.
Yeah.
He's spooning her afterwards. They are both falling asleep. She says, I love you.
Does she? I don't remember that.
Says, I love you, kind of like just maybe she's falling asleep, maybe she thinks he's asleep, but he's like just holding her behind her and just like hears it and doesn't say anything back. And she
Oh my
doesn't,
God.
she just like closes her eyes.
I don't think I recognized that she had said that because obviously kissing him on the mouth was pretty significant. But
yeah, maybe she was talking in her sleep. Also, upon second watch, I was like, this movie is long.
Yeah, it's a long.
We have
movie.
a lot of scene changes.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel long while
I
you're
don't want to
watching
say
it.
too long. I don't want to say too long because we need all of this. So the next morning, I think this is our penultimate day. I think then this is like their last day together.
I think so. Mm-hmm.
And he says, Vivian, I really want to see you again. I'm going back to New York, but I can get you an apartment and a car. She's not upset, but she's like pretty turned off by this. She's like, oh, like, how could I resist? And he's kind of saying like it would get you off the street at least. And she says, well, that's just geography, and like walks out to the balcony. And he's like, I don't understand what you want. And then she talks about how when she was little, she used to get sent to her room all the time for being bad. And she would pretend that her mother was a witch who sent her to a tower to be imprisoned, and that a white knight was gonna come and rescue her on his horse. And that never once did that white knight say, come on, baby, I'll put you up in a great condo. So now the phone rings. Stucky says, the winds are changing with Morris. I think we got him right where we want him. If you can come meet him. And he says, you know what, let's meet right now. Because I think he's feeling, again, a little freaked out by she's like wanting too much or something from him. Or he says, I'm going to meet him there. Like, keep him there. Hangs up. And then he says, Vivian, this is all I'm capable of right now. And she says, it's a great offer for a girl like me. And he says, never once did I call you a prostitute, and walks away. And she says, you just did.
Yeah. Ouch. She's like, I feel something different with this guy. And he obviously feels there's something there that's palpable, that's beyond a business relationship. But he's sticking to not getting emotionally involved. And she doesn't want to be his employee, his beck and call girl anymore.
Which
like,
is what he's used to with all his other relationships, right? We had that at the beginning with his girlfriend who's breaking up with. She was like, I can't be at your beck and call. Like,
yeah.
But that's what he's used to, is having that distance, or like him calling the shots. And she doesn't want that because she wants to be on equal footing with him.
Yeah.
And if he like puts her up in a condo and gets her a car, like he's in charge, like he's calling the shots. And she doesn't want that. So she's feeling bummed. We cut down to the lobby. Kit is downstairs and they're like, do you know this girl? Because she's looking how Vivian did on day one. She's got her like big 80s hair and like a little like leopard bralette situation. She says like, yo, Viv, like, blah, 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 come tell him that you know me, come and get me. And then while she's waiting, she does a really cute thing where the counter that she's waiting at with the phone is like a shiny, like mirrored surface. And the girl behind the counter is kind of looking at her like, ugh. And while she's waiting, she leans over to the counter and goes, and just like,
just breathes onto the countertop.
Onto the counter. And then like looks up at her and like smiles. Oh, that was very silly.
Yeah.
So Vivian comes down. They're going for a walk down by the pool. Vivian is in the dreamiest coral short suit. Oh my God.
Oh, yes.
She is in coral shorts and a blazer and like a white button up, and her hair is billowing. Kit's like, you clean up nice. You look great. They're talking. She says kind of what happened this morning. And she's like, are you gonna do it? And she's like, I don't want to. Here's why, blah, blah, blah. Like, I want the fairy tale. And Kit's like, oh my God, you fell in love with him. And she's like, no, I didn't. Like, I just like him, but blah, blah, blah. I'm afraid he's gonna hurt me. Like, this never works out for girls like us. Kit's like, it could work. It happens. And she goes, when does it happen? Who does it ever work out for? And she's like, you want a name? Like someone we know? And she's like, yeah, I want a name. She's like, oh God. She goes, I got a name for you. Cinder fucking Rella, which was stolen by Honora. I feel like word for word. They stole it. Honora wishes that it was this movie. This movie. Cinder fucking Rella. We go back to more business stuff. I don't know.
Business. Edward changes strategy at the last minute, asks everyone to leave the room, and he tells Morris that he wants to actually help him build back the company
Yes,
instead
they're
of
gonna
buy it for
build
parts.
ships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
He's very
basically
excited.
it. And then he does a weird thing where he just like leaves and doesn't tell his business partners anything.
Yeah, I think he's like, Stucky can handle this, and then
Yep.
like leaves.
And leaves like that. Does a little mic drop, leaves, and Stucky is furious.
Furious.
Which then incites the next terrible scene.
But before that, we just cut to Richard Gere. He is in the park by himself, barefoot and
You're right.
walking through the grass. So like her impact even when she's not there. Now we're in the hotel room. I think she's packing to leave.
Yeah.
And Stucky shows up, which I forget what his pretense is. He's like, I'm looking for Edward. He just left our meeting. He kind of blew the whole thing up. And then is like, I think this is because of you. Like, I think you're changing him and I don't like it. And says a lot of gross, mean things to her. He like grabs her. I feel like this turns kind of aggressive really quickly.
It is he attacks her and it
Yeah.
is truly
He like
distressing.
slaps her at one point and she's like
Mhm.
on the ground and he's on top of her.
Yeah, he's assaulting her.
Yeah.
It's
And it's like a
terrifying.
sexual assault. He's like, you know, why shouldn't you be with me? Like this is your job, right?
Yeah,
Like being
yeah.
very like degrading and
Yeah.
gross, and slaps her and she like falls off the couch and then he's on top of her on the floor and she's like screaming and trying to get away from him. And then we have Richard Gere finally arrives, rips Stucky off of him, I think punches him in the face,
Mhm.
rescues her.
Throws him out of the
Throws
room.
him out. He's like, come on, I gave you 10 years of my life. Like, what are you doing? Like, for her kind of thing. And Richard Gere is like, yes, like, get out of here. You're
Get out of
gross.
here. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. Yep.
Mhm.
Comes in as her knight in shining armor.
Mhm.
Rescues her.
They have just kind of like a little wrap-up conversation where he's like, do you still feel the same? And she says, I want the fairy tale. Like, I'm sorry. I think they both know that they like love each other, but she's like, this is how much I want, and I am not going to take less from you.
Yep.
And he's like, okay. So he gives her the money that's owed for her week, and she goes to leave, and he like comes to the door as she's walking out, and he says, I want you to stay. And he says, not because I'm paying you to, but because you want to. And she's like, I can't do that. I think it's really great that she's like not giving on this, that she's like, no, like this is what I want and this is what I'm worth. And like, I don't want this to be this. And then she says to him, when she's kind of mirroring what he said to her the other night, I think you have a lot of special gifts. And then she leaves. She is in the lobby. She says goodbye to Bernard. I have noted, is she getting a blowout every day? Her hair in the scene. It's like big bouncing curls. Bernard is very sad to see her go.
Yeah.
She has grown on everyone. She says she's just going to take a cab, and he insists that the hotel limo take her wherever she wants to go. So she takes it back to her crummy apartment she lives in with Kit. It's now raining. He's on the balcony being sad. We have that song, Must Have Been Love, but it's over now. It's like a montage. She's in her apartment. She's sad. Vivian's moving to San Francisco.
Yeah.
She's either going to like go back to school or try and find a job. She's like, I don't know. I used to get pretty good grades when I was in school.
Yeah. Then she gives some of the money she made from her week with Edward to Kit. Says, Here's some money. It's part of the Edward Lewis Scholarship Fund. She
It's
grabs
cute.
Kit on either side of her shoulders and says, "We think you got real potential, Kit."
Hmm.
And Kit can't even handle this goodbye
Yeah.
because it makes her crazy. So
She
she's
says,
like, "I
goodbyes
love
make me
ya.
crazy. They do their
Yeah,
little take care of you thing
take care
again.
of you. Love ya." And then Kit heads out.
Then we have Edward downstairs. He's checking out. He brings the necklace box to Bernard. He says, can you take this back to the jeweler for me? And he says, do you mind if I look at it? He looks at it and goes, must be difficult to let go of something so beautiful. And then he tells Edward that the hotel limo chauffeur just took Miss Vivian home. And so he knows where she
Im-
lives.
Implies that I have the address of this woman
Uh-huh.
who has left on her own terms. Yeah.
It's not creepy. It's really cute. It's charming. They know where she lives. This 22-year-old sex worker. No, so this I also missed the first time. Now it's Kit. This is just like a quick little pan away, quickly seen, but Kit is like on the street talking to the sex worker we met in the beginning, who they told to like get off their section of the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
And Kit is talking to her about being her new roommate.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm gonna have to charge you a little more than I was charging Vivian because there's some beauty courses that I want to take. And so it's like the impact is like rippling throughout, which I know
Yeah.
is so cheesy, but it's also like, Vivian is like, I'm gonna like go back to school and I'm gonna like think about what I really want to do. And then now Kit in some way is like, what do I really want to do? Like maybe there's these things
Mm-hmm.
I've been putting off and I want to do that as well instead of just like getting stuck in this apartment. And then we see the limo pull up next to where they're talking, and Edward jumps out and buys some flowers from like a vendor. So now we have Julia Roberts. She is about to leave, and then she hears something and goes to the window, and here comes the limo with Richard Gere out the sunroof. With an umbrella in one hand and flowers in the other hand and opera blaring. And he says, Princess Vivian, come down. And we were both like, ah! I feel like I was just like ear to ear.
Yeah.
At this
Grinning.
part.
Yeah. He gets out of the limo, and of course, now he's starting to climb her fire escape. And he goes, had to be the top floor? And she goes, it's the best. She meets him on the fire escape, and I think we get a little romantic. Maybe they kiss already. He says, your night comes to save the princess. And she goes, and she saves him right back.
And we're
So
screaming.
cute. I read in this Vanity Fair article that the executive producer, Laura Ziskin, is the one that added this final line, and she saves him right back.
Yes, she does.
So that was added. It wasn't in the original like script or the original like
I love
the
that.
original script, but this producer felt it was important that Vivian wasn't just happy because she got rescued and that she's getting all this like money and pulled off the streets from a rich guy, but she also finds fulfillment in the fact that she's saving him from his unhappy life as well.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and that
really
feels
cute.
so fitting too with like what we've seen throughout the movie. Like she has helped him.
Yes.
I would say maybe more. Like she's helped him from just being like completely miserable his whole life. She taught him how to take off his shoes at the park and conquer his fear of heights, and like just I don't know, is bringing so much joy. Yeah, it's like an equal partnership, I feel like, throughout. And so that line felt like it really underscored it, and I'm surprised that wasn't in there from the beginning because that felt so fitting. I feel like some of the like letterboxed reviews, I was like, I feel like you guys are missing this.
They're saving each other, and obviously if we're going to keep with this concept of this is our adult fairy tale with a happy ending, then I think we're supposed to suspend our disbelief to the point that like they do live happily ever after. They do save each other in the
Mm-hmm.
end. And instead of like, I'm sure Honora takes the approach of like, it doesn't end up happy ending. You don't get to be
No,
Cinderella.
no,
But in the world of Pretty Woman,
you
you do get to
do.
be Cinderella. You do get to live happily ever after and have everything you ever
Yes.
wanted. Yeah.
And then we get at the very end, we get another what's this director's name again?
Gary Marshall.
We get another Gary
Mm-hmm.
Marshall staple of some guy who I think was in the beginning,
Yep. Yeah.
walking by, like as they kiss on the fire escape down below, people are walking by on the street. And he goes, "Welcome to Hollywood, baby. What's your dream? You got a dream?" Like as it's just pulling away, and he's just shouting about following your dreams in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So
Same dream.
good. And we were like this.
Just
So
cheesing, just
good.
grinning.
It was,
Yeah.
God, just like romance is back, baby, is how I felt. Like, there's a reason
Yeah.
that there are 10 million movies trying to be this that are
Yeah.
not this.
Yeah.
You can see why Julia Roberts was just skyrocketed too to superstardom.
Totally.
Have you ever seen Mystic Pizza?
I haven't.
We got to add that to our list.
If
Not
I
only is
want to
it like
say, yeah,
such hot Julia Roberts, but I believe there is also a really great Bob in that. It's like one of my favorite movies.
oh yeah,
It's like a long Bob, but it's like for fall time, it's the most charming. I loved
great
it.
choice, Katie.
I loved it. What's next?
Next, I chose a movie that plays off the knight saves princess theme that we're kind of introduced to in this movie. So we're going to watch Legend. Legend is from 1985, I believe, is when it was released. And it's a Ridley Scott movie, which makes me excited. We watched Thelma and Louise last year and realized that was a Ridley Scott film. I love the Blade Runner movies,
Mm-hmm.
Alien. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel good about that. But also I feel like this just is a movie that I've been wanting to see for its like cult
Right.
fan base. And it's a fantasy film with Tom Cruise in it.
Tom Young. I think it's Tom Cruise's first movie, right?
I don't know, is it?
It's
Maybe.
a
He's
very,
pretty
very
young.
young Tom Cruise, and I
Very young.
believe starring Tim Curry
Tim
as
Curry.
Satan.
Yeah. As like the Satan monster.
I'm
I've
so excited.
I've only heard great things about the like visuals and the aesthetic of this
Oh
movie,
yeah.
and people that love it seem to really love it. So I think we're gonna have fun with it.
I cannot wait. Okay. Well, that'll be our next go. So we'll see you guys next time
Yeah.
for Legend.
For Legend. Cool. See you next time.
See you next
Bye.
time. 3, 2, 1. Bye.